This is about to get even more difficult for Blake Lively because a shocking piece of footage is currently going viral on Reddit, and people literally can't believe their eyes. And no, this isn't some red carpet drama. This is the kind of solid evidence that could destroy her entire victim narrative in a single second.
It certainly doesn't support her narrative that he was this evil, brutal, bully, sexual harasser, and poor little meek, powerless Blake just had to deal with his aggressive advances. That's just so obviously a lie.
If you're watching this video, you already know about the whole Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni situation. Lawsuits have been filed, allegations are being thrown from both sides, and the internet is at war. But now the real bomb is about to drop, the kind of evidence that could completely flip the narrative. Blake Lively herself made this public when that article against Justin was published in the New York Times, and since then secret text messages from both sides have been exposed for everyone to see.
It kind of passed. It was over. But like a lot of thin-skinned Hollywood types, she couldn't stand the fact that it was still lingering in any way out there.
But what the world hasn't seen yet is the biggest twist in Blake Lively's story, footage that was recorded when Blake didn't even know anyone was watching. And it paints a completely different picture of her dynamic with Justin. This is footage from May 17th, 2023, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on set. Look at the body language, a warm hug, open smiles, and a completely comfortable conversation. This isn't a formal hello. This looks like genuine closeness. Now compare that to the 30 demands that Blake's team reportedly made during the shoot. Strict rules in the name of intimacy boundaries. So the question is, does this look like someone who is now claiming in court that she was trapped in an uncomfortable work environment?
And actually, your husband Ryan Reynolds wrote part of that rooftop scene. Is that true?
Yeah, that's, I mean, I would have to compare it to the original one, but that's 90-something, 99% his. Yeah, he
So the iconic rooftop scene in this movie, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you now.
That same infamous rooftop scene that Justin allegedly claimed he was bullied into changing, and by whom? Blake's two so-called ferocious dragons, who we now know are Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift.
Details about meetings like the one they had with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and apparently, though the name is blacked out, there's an assumption, well-founded, that it's Taylor Swift, her BFF, at the Reynolds penthouse in Manhattan, where Ryan Reynolds allegedly bullied Justin so badly that a Sony representative who was there, the production team behind the movie, and her biggest takeaway was, I am very sorry that I let him get away with doing that to Justin. It was so nasty.
But here's the most important part. This is the exact scene where Blake allegedly complained that Justin made her feel uncomfortable. So, drumroll please, because here it is, never seen before behind the scenes footage from that same rooftop scene. Now you tell me, does Blake look threatened or uncomfortable here? Watch for yourself.
This video that's been leaked that is on Reddit showed that Blake Lively was laughing and having a good time, and no one could really see that there's anything off here.
The evidence against Blake just keeps stacking up. Anyone watching these videos would be left stunned. But wait, what's coming next is even more shocking. Blake Lively's own words, captured in a Reddit post. And this might be the self-inflicted blow she may never recover from.
This isn't a film about domestic violence. It's a film that covers a lot of things, from first love to being an entrepreneur and opening your first shop and having all your dreams come true, to falling in love, to finding a new best friend, to domestic violence, which you don't hear all of those things in one place.
You heard that right? This is Blake Lively herself saying, this is not a film about domestic violence. This is Blake Lively, the film's star and executive producer, clearly stating that the movie is not about the issue everyone believed it was about. Now think about this. For months before the release, the marketing, the interviews, Blake's own social media, and everything told the same story. A woman escaping an abusive relationship. Fans connected deeply with the book's portrayal of domestic violence and expected the same from the movie. But Blake doesn't say, it's not just about DV. She says, it's not about DV at all. And then she adds, she isn't defined by anything a man did to her.
It's a film about a woman because she's not defined by anything any man did to her.
For many people, that statement completely misunderstands the nature of domestic violence. And the biggest question is, how can you hug someone you're making such serious allegations against, and then say the film isn't even about DV? It feels like Blake is now on a mission to clean up her image.
She's a serial fraudster. That's called fraud. When you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very, very different that's above your pay grade.
So here's the clear contradiction. Blake Lively appears to downplay or completely deny the domestic violence theme, even though that's the very reason many people say they watched the movie in the first place. And this contradiction came from her own mouth. And now it's setting the internet on fire. This isn't just bad PR. Critics are calling it a betrayal of fans. And in the middle of a legal battle, it could be a devastating blow to her credibility. But these clips aren't the first pieces of damaging evidence to surface. Similar footage has already made headlines challenging several of Blake's claims. For example, during a slow dance scene, Blake reportedly claimed that Justin broke character, rubbed against her neck, and smelled her in a way that made her feel incredibly uncomfortable.
She writes, on another occasion, Mr. Baldoni and Ms. Lively were filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Ms. Lively out of character as himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck.
But what Blake may not have expected was that an unedited version of that scene exists, and it appears to show Blake in control. Blake directing Justin, Blake telling him what to do.
We should be talking.
Ryan, go
It's
to the
more
bar, Ryan, go to the
romantic
bar.
if we're like dancing.
And then there's what some are calling the Golden Nugget, another behind-the-scenes clip, seemingly filmed when Blake didn't realize anyone was paying attention. In this footage, she again appears to be directing Justin, instructing him to pull her with more passion and fervor, and even guiding how he should kiss her. The clip may be short, but supporters of this view argue that the body language says everything. Across all these clips, one common argument keeps surfacing, that Blake Lively does not appear to fit the image of someone portraying herself as a victim.
It's just disgusting when you go after someone, you try to destroy their life, and actually the evidence shows something different. Blake Lively was no victim here. She was in control, she was in power, and she took over this film.
And this isn't exactly helping her public image, which brings us to the next point. The evidence is out there, the Reddit post, the hug, the contradictions, and now the public is reacting. Unlike Hollywood's carefully controlled PR machine, the internet has no filter. These aren't just isolated comments. They represent a wave of disillusionment, a chorus of outrage. Some former fans are beginning to question her motives, her character, even her entire public persona. Of course, others are defending her, arguing she's being unfairly targeted or misunderstood, but a large portion of the online sentiment reflects feelings of betrayal. Some viewers feel misled, even manipulated, and they're making their voices heard. Critics have mocked what they perceive as a shift in focus, from a story of survival to what they describe as a showcase of self-importance. According to this narrative, Blake Lively may have become the architect of her own downfall, not because of her enemies, but because of her own words and actions. What some are calling a potential career implosion is unfolding in real time. The risk is clear, the risk of losing everything. And at this point, the backlash isn't just about a movie, it's about trust, about authenticity, and about the consequences of trying to control a narrative that may now be slipping away.
And she finally bumped into someone who was weak enough and not famous enough to stop.
And while Blake Lively's own words and actions are being scrutinized, the question now turns to Justin Baldoni. What would it truly take for him to recover, professionally and personally? The damage on both sides could be long-lasting. Was this a calculated pattern of manipulation that has finally been exposed? Or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? Those questions may never be fully answered, but one thing seems clear: the tide appears to be turning. Carefully crafted images are being tested. And as Blake Lively faces mounting criticism, some believe Justin Baldoni may finally have a chance to reclaim his narrative, his career, and his reputation. What do you think? After the Reddit post and the hug video, has your opinion changed? Do you believe this is the beginning of a major downfall, or is there more to the story?